Hey guys, welcome back. Joseph Fulmer here. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Pittsburgh motorcycle wheel balancing stand. Let's see, it's item number 98488. Okay, show you here. See, 98. Hopefully it's showing up. 98488. Now, I have not opened that yet. I've had it for a while. It's been sitting on the shelf waiting for me to mount up my new motorcycle tire so I could open it up and show it to you guys and try it out. So I'm going to do that, and before we get started, do me a favor, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. If you have, make sure you hit the notification bell. Have any questions, put them in the comments section, and as always, please rate it when it's over with. Now, I bought this from Harbor Freight. You know, this isn't sponsored or anything, so you're gonna get an unbiased review. I don't remember what it cost, but I think it was like 30 bucks or something. It's not real expensive. As you can see, I have no idea what to expect here. I'm opening the box for the first time, so you're seeing this as I am. I've heard reviews on it where people had issues with certain parts, but we're gonna see. So first, we'll pull that out, assuming if I cut this open, that this is probably the axle to mount the tire on and the cones. There's the rod, and these would be, I presume, the cones that would slide into and made up of your front wheel bearings. This one's got a set screw in it. So, actually they both do. Now, we've got what appears to be a leg here, and actually those bearings move fairly freely. I might put a little bit of penetrating oil on there just to help them out, but they seem to move very well. Now keep in mind, one thing you do want to do with this is you're going to want to set it up on a level surface. So even though the little bench I'm working on right now is just two sawhorses and some OSB, I did actually take a 4-foot level and shim this to get it level, mainly side to side, but front to back as well, because that is all going to play a role in how well this balancer works, as if it's whether or not it's sitting on a level surface. That it needs to be a fairly sturdy, solid surface as well. So there's our other leg, and those bearings feel really good. They're free. I don't feel any binding. And then, looks like this is going to be our base here. And a little instruction card, not much. So, just to make sure I get this, well now. Not much for assembly instructions here, I'll give them that. But it does look like most of it is pre-assembled anyway. So we've got our 4 bolts to secure the legs to the stand. We're going to need 2 on each side. And it looks like, according to the description, they're going to drop through just like this. We'll go to the other side, and they do use nylon locking nuts, which is actually kind of nice. Allen head cap screws. Now, you know, it seems to be a quality piece here. So, now, guys, one thing you do want to keep in mind is right down here on the back side, you want to make sure that that is fairly square to the base. That way, when you set the axle in here, everything rolls nice and evenly. Now, mine, I'm going to have to spread these apart just a little bit. You can see the gap between the end of the axle and the roller on that side. And if we look at the other side, we have the same gap. That's what you want, is sitting right very nicely in the rollers, and that way when that way when we put the tire on here and we go to balance it, it's not touching the end plates. If it was touching these end plates, it would create friction and you're not going to get an accurate balance. So now I've already leveled my table, so I'm going to move that out of the way. I'm going to grab my wheel and tire, and I'm also going to find the proper size Allen wrench for these set screws, which I'm going to guess and say probably 4 mil. Oh, no, 3 mil it is. Okay, so I've got a 3 mil Allen wrench. I'm going to set there's my wheel tire with the brake rotors and everything in place. And we're going to turn it sideways here, so hopefully you can see okay. I got a hook to help hold it up here. Now the cones go into your wheel bearings, and if you can see, I'm trying to get the axle fairly close to centered in the wheel. Once I figure out where that is, roughly, while I'm holding it up, I'm going to lock my cone down on the axle on one side. Just use your Allen wrench. Okay, that one's locked down. Now we'll spin it around this way so you guys can see here. We'll get that first cone tight in the bearing. While I hold the second cone tight into the wheel bearing, I'm going to lock down this set screw as well. And that will center the axle on the shaft so that we get the best possible balance on this tire. Okay, I'm going to bring my stand back up here, make sure I don't have anything underneath of it. We're going to very gently pick up our whole wheel and tire combination and set it into the bearings. Once it's set in and centered, we're just going to let it go. Now it's going to rotate around. The heaviest spot is going to go to the bottom. So we can now see, it's actually it should be rotating on these bearings, but believe it or not, it's actually rotating on the wheel bearings right now. Now it's just a matter of letting it go until it finally settles and stops, and then your heavy spot will be all the way at the bottom, your light spot will be at the top, and you can add weight accordingly. Now, the first weight I'm going to start with, once I get there, is this factory clip-on weight that's been on the bike since I bought it. I can tighten it up a little bit and I'll stick it on there. I believe this is either a quarter or a half ounce. And we'll stick it on there and see how it does. If I need to, I can always pull it off and swap it out, and I do have, unfortunately, I'm having trouble finding these clip-on weights online. I do have some stick-on weights, some automotive style stick-on weights. Oh, lovely. Now, right now, my straight up down point is right in the middle of this aluminum spoke. Let me bring you over where you have a better side shot here. My perfect top point, if you followed this up, is going to be right dead center of that spoke. So I'm going to take this weight, I'm going to try it, I'm going to try and clip it on right at the rear of this spoke, and I'm going to rotate it. We're just going to see what happens. Go 90 degrees. Okay, so even with that weight on there, we are still light. in the exact same spot. So I'm going to tighten this one up just a little bit and then I'll reapply it. So okay, so I've got these 1/4 ounce stick-ons. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take a little bit of just Walmart brake cleaner, brake parts cleaner, spray it on a rag, and then just ahead of this spoke, up on this interior edge, I'm going to wipe that down really well. See all the crud coming off there? I want to get that nice and clean so that weight will stick well. The first one I'm going to stick on this side of the wheel. The next one, which I presume there will probably be a second weight. I don't think one's going to do it. I'll stick on the opposite side. So very simple, just peel and stick. Give her a little push to make sure she's glued down well. And then we're going to rotate it back about here. We're going to let it go and see what happens. Now basically we're going to follow this same procedure of adding a weight, adding some weight, rotate it, let it go, see where it stops. We're only static balancing this, which means we're only balancing weight from one side to the other. We're not, this tire really, if this was possibly a racing application where you're going to be going a lot higher speeds, you could dynamic balance this tire on a machine where you would also not just balance it from top to bottom, so to speak, but from side to side. So if one side was lighter, you'd add weight to that side. We're not going to be able to do this with what we have here, nor are we going to try, because on a tire that's this narrow, it's not going to have a great effect cruising at normal speeds going down the road. Now the light spot is right about where that weight is, so on the other side, clean it up. Actually, we're going to clean up the top of that weight. We're going to apply it directly to the weight. Alright, looks like we're back in the same boat again. So I'm going to apply one to the other side. It took a couple tries the last time to balance this thing out, so I'm not shocked here either. As you can see, I've pretty well got this tire balanced out now. I've spun it multiple times. It stops in a different spot each time. So, what do I think of the stand? The stand is very well built. Some of the complaints that I've heard online about the axle in the stand not being straight or these bearings on the stand being tight, I don't have a complaint about that. It's spinning on the wheel bearings in my wheel just for the simple fact that they are nice and free. So, it's free spinning on them, not a big deal. I can live with that. This tire's still balanced out just fine. So would I recommend the stand for the price? Yes, I would definitely recommend this stand because yes, it does take you a little bit of time yes, the weights, you know, you can buy them in an auto parts store, these stick-on ones. If you have spoke wheels, check out Amazon. They've got special weights for spoked wheels. The weights are going to cost you a little bit. If you can't find stick-ons in an auto parts store, check with the local tire shop. I'm sure they'll have some. But that being said, what I spent on the stand and weights is less than or equal to what it would have cost me to drive to a motorcycle shop and have them balance this tire for me. So between the gas and the time to get there and what they're going to charge me to balance it, it's probably going to cost me about the same. So in balancing one tire, this stand is probably paid for itself, and by the time I balance 2 or 3 more tires, I will be money ahead. So keep that in mind, guys. Yes, I'd recommend it. Yeah, if you need to balance your tire, go grab one. Anything taller than a 21 I don't think is going to fit very well on this stand, because I only have about 2.5 inches of clearance between the bottom of this tire and the stand. But I think you'd probably be okay. Most of your 21s are a little bit taller and narrower, a little shorter sidewall profile, so I think you'd be fine. But the real challenge will be in the future when I rebalance my rear tire with the car tire on there, because that's going to be a tight fit on this stand. And if you are going to the dark side on your bike, this stand will more than pay for itself, because you're going to have a hard time finding any motorcycle shop that's going to want to balance a car tire on a motorcycle wheel. Most of them will not want to do that for you. So keep that in mind, guys. I do recommend the stand. You can go out, you can pick it up at Harbor Freight for, I don't remember exactly what it cost, but I think it was 25, 30 bucks, maybe a little bit more than that. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I hope it helped you out. Please share it with somebody else, and we will catch you on the next one. Don't be afraid to get out there and get your hands dirty. You might have a little fun doing it. Hopefully you'll learn something. And please check out my video where I showed you how to mount the tire on the wheel, and I also showed you polishing out the wheel. I need to go out and actually wash it off now, but it's polished out. It looks 10 times better than it did when I started. So hope you've enjoyed it, guys.